Good morning, St. Paul. How are you feeling today? I'm Mitra Jalali. It's my distinct honor to be here as your council president and council member for St. Paul's Ward 4. Thank you for being here today. Before we begin, I want to just acknowledge and thank our pianist, Shane Kretz from the Get Down, playing gorgeous music in the background. It's next my distinguished honor to welcome the St. Paul Police Department and St. Paul Fire Local 21 guards who will present our flags. We'll then follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance and both our national anthems by Julia Diaz and Linnell Lightfoot. So first, please rise and remain standing if you're able.
March. Right face. Present arms.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's now my distinct honor to introduce Julia Diaz. Julia is a Mexican-American singer and actress committed to spreading joy, inspiring confidence, and enacting change through her work as a performing artist. She has trained and performed with several theatrical institutions across the Twin Cities, including our very own Ordway Center that we're here today, Guthrie Theater, the Minnesota Opera, the Children's Theater Company, Theater La Teta, and much more. Singing the national anthem, please welcome Julia Diaz.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the fight that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Next, I'm so excited to introduce Linnell Lightfoot. Linnell is a native of Minnesota who began her musical journey at age 4 and rose to prominence as a member of the Grammy Award-winning group The Sounds of Blackness. Her powerful performances have led her to share stages with gospel legends and sing for distinguished figures, including U.S. presidents, the Queen of England, and now our city of St. Paul. Singing the Black National Anthem, lift every voice and sing, please welcome Linnell Lightfoot.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing a rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Oh, God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast taught by might, let us into the light. Keep us forever in the path we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land.
Let's give.
Right base. Forward march.
Let's give one more round of applause to our color guard and the beautiful voices. Thank you, and you may be seated now. I want to take a minute and just acknowledge and thank everyone for being here today. My colleagues on the St. Paul City Council, our history-making City Council, Councilwoman Bowie, Councilwoman Naker, Councilwoman Jost, Council Vice President Kim, Councilmember Yang, Councilmember Johnson, your presence with us today and every day. Thank you for your leadership. Our Honorable Deputy Mayor Tincher, our St. Paul departmental leaders, thank you for our work together every day. To my fellow elected officials working hard in every level of government who are with us in the fight, I'd like to acknowledge all of you here. Our state delegation, Representative Liz Lee, Representative Maria Isa Perez Vega, our state representative Dave Pinto, our state representative Athena Hollins. Thank you to our state delegation and leaders for record investments in our community and tireless dedication every single day. Our Ramsey County Attorney, John Choi, thank you for your partnership in a more just Ramsey County. And our school board directors, board member Carlo Franco, board member Hala Henderson, and all of our school board leaders, Erica Valiant, Director Valiant, thank you for your leadership of St. Paul Public Schools. Thank you to our city employees, residents, and business owners who are here from all across St. Paul. You're here with us in this work every day. And last but not least, our many, many Right Track interns who are learning this summer. Today marks the beginning of the formal process known as our annual city budget conversation, and I'm here to welcome you and to frame up what this discussion will be for the next 4 months. First, I want to reflect on all of the work that we've been able to accomplish together in partnership with you, Mayor Carter, and with our administration and our hardworking city staff every single day. Our council has been hard at work with our mayor and administration partners these last 8 months in our first term together, both to inform today's budget proposal on behalf of our wards and to keep up the work for a better St. Paul. Thank you to the combined leadership of our council, mayor, and hardworking city staff. Because of this, we've taken key steps for a more sustainable St. Paul, for a safer St. Paul, a more stably housed St. Paul, and a St. Paul where everyone can economically thrive. To meet the climate crisis, we know we have to modernize our infrastructure, and this year, together in partnership with the administration, our council passed an historic $45 million, first of its kind, common sense sales tax investment citywide to fund critical needs in our streets and parks. St. Paul residents, thank you for trusting us with these funds, and it's exciting to see common sense investments at work improving lives. Our council has also advanced sustainable policy with the administration in many other ways. We've unlocked new funding for trees and urban canopy in our city. We've passed zoning changes so new apartment buildings are ready for electric vehicle charging. We advanced a first-of-its-kind geothermal system at the Heights on the east side. We approved funding so that some city trucks can start to take on new city-operated garbage routes on the east side. Hashtag trash news. And my personal favorite, we approved a comprehensive update to our bike plan that prioritizes separated bike paths for even safer travel. We look forward, Mayor Carter, today in this budget season to hearing about investments in sustainability, from dedicated funding for implementing that bike plan to boosting pedestrian safety projects citywide, weatherizing homes, and more. In partnership with our administration and with you, Mayor, our council has also worked to support community wealth building and economic development. We've advanced new investments in St. Paul, from the Allianz Field Superblock in Midway to the Heights on the east side, to expanding our downtown improvement district for greater vitality, supported and uplifted our cultural events and festivals in all 7 wards, from Grand Old Days, Cinco de Mayo, Little Mekong, the Rondo Block Party, Little Africa, and more. Tomorrow at the council table, we expect to give Grand Avenue a major zoning upgrade. We're going to eliminate limits on building height and other restrictions so we can keep welcoming residents and customers for years to come. Thank you for the partnership on this important advancement. And we know that reparative policy is economic policy. We've helped our newly formed Reparations Commission take its first steps to begin critical conversations, and we've continued to support and uplift small businesses with city grants and loans programs so that community dreams can come to life with community investment. So this budget season, Mayor, we look forward to building on this progress with you. Our council is excited to champion resources for local businesses, from Neighborhood Star and Cultural Corridors funding to support for events and festivals that make St. Paul our city that we know it is. And we also hear the call from our community to continue doing its part in rectifying past economic harm. The upcoming budget process is a chance to take steps forward on reparative investments and the policy conversations that support them. I look forward to that conversation with you, Mayor, and with our full council. Every single person in our city deserves to be safe and experience peace where they live and where they go, anywhere. Our council is proud to support a community safety approach in partnership with our mayor and our many, many city leaders and workers who help keep St. Paul safe. We've championed programs for youth and families in our parks and libraries so there's a safe space for kids to learn and grow. We've supported our Office of Neighborhood Safety's efforts with continued dedicated funding. and we've worked to uphold community relationships, accountability, trust, and respect with our police department. We even went through a crash course in firefighter training, and I learned a lot of our council members might just have what it takes to be a firefighter. And I would personally describe myself as aspiring. From our parks and libraries to police and fire, we really deeply thank our frontline workers who are first responders every day in every way. Thank you to our frontline workers. And yes, we're going to keep working for community safety together this budget season. And our council is excited to look for ways to support our frontline parks and library workers better, and improvements to the buildings that they live and work in, or that they work in and that our kids use every day, to funding fire safety programs and increased firefighter capacity, and to bring fresh urgency with the new council to battle the opioid epidemic so that people can get the deep and lasting help that they need in coordination with all partners in our city. So we look forward to those conversations and more with you, Mayor, and all of our department leaders and our community. Last but not least, in any stretch of the imagination, none of these efforts, none of them, for safety, for success, none of them are possible without meeting the basic human need for a home in our city. Our council is hard at work on policy and investments for housing in St. Paul in partnership with our administration. We've voted to advance hundreds of new homes at all income levels and projects throughout the city. We've renewed the effort to uphold renters' rights and other ordinances through creating the ability for our city to use administrative citations, a common tool that other major cities in Minnesota already have. St. Paul residents deserve city support, enforcing housing and economic justice policy. From better combating wage theft to upholding rent stabilization to going after problem landlords so rental housing is safe and up to code. Our council remains committed to housing stability front and center this budget cycle. We will advocate for every lever at our disposal, from more frontline support for renters like legal support and inspections to direct assistance, continued investment into affordable housing citywide, and our homelessness response that has received rightful recognition for being a model in the state, and continued investment in down payment assistance to unlock homeownership opportunity, especially for people who've been historically left out. My council colleagues and I are greatly looking forward to continued partnership with you, Mayor, this budget season, and today we are formally beginning that conversation together. Over the next 4 months, so you know what to expect, like we do every single year, our council will review department proposals at our weekly public budget meetings at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. You can tune in live and watch them in your pajamas. I highly recommend it. In September, we'll vote on and pass what we call a levy limit. This is a vote that sets out the limit by which the city can raise property taxes in 2025 in order to meet that governing responsibility of balancing impacts on taxpayers and funding the services that our residents depend on. That gives us the parameters to develop and adopt a final budget by early December, 4 months from now. And the entire way leading up to today and also beyond today, we continue to welcome your thoughts in this process, in person, at opportunities for engagement that we'll be sharing by phone or online at stpaul.gov/budget. So reflecting on those accomplishments together and looking to the rest of the year, Mayor, I'm proud of our work and our partnership. I'm thankful to you and our administration, and I'm deeply thankful to our council, who came into office in very unprecedented situations, working to get right to work amid national news and lots of discussion about what it was going to be like and how that would work. And hopefully from my comments you see, I feel like it's working pretty well, and I'm proud of our local government here in St. Paul. I'm deeply honored to serve as your council president, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today and take this step together. So with that, we look forward to this year's process in partnership with all of our colleagues, and in that spirit, it's now my distinct privilege to introduce our Mayor, Melvin Carter, and deliver the 2025 budget address. Thank you.
Good morning. And thank you all so much for being here with us today. Council President Jalali, thank you so much for that kind introduction. In our years of friendship, I've witnessed you work tirelessly on behalf of our city and our residents. Your unique understanding of our city's diverse needs and commitment to creating opportunities for all is a part of why I'm proud to call you our City Council President. I've been proud and honored to work alongside you throughout our years as a member of the City Council and through these past 8 months as our Council President. To our adored First Lady, Dr. Sakina Futrell-Carter, I thank you for being here. My life is blessed beyond measure with you by my side. You are absolutely the guiding force that pushes me forward every day, sometimes physically. You're the best friend who lifts me up, the life partner whose love and support provides me with purpose. I'm forever grateful for our life together. Thank you so much. Deputy Mayor Tincher, thank you so much for being here. I wish I could put into words for all of you the service that our Deputy Mayor provides to our entire city, the way she keeps us grounded, keeps us focused on the task at hand. We appreciate your guidance and leadership. To our members of our St. Paul City Council, I joke that I'm jealous of them. It's not a joke. After they were sworn in and made national news, I went to a mayor's conference, and people would introduce each other and say, oh, I'm from here, I'm from there. I'd say, I'm from St. Paul. And they'd say, oh, St. Paul. And I'd say, yes, it's at a mayor's conference. And they'd say, oh, the city with the city council. We appreciate all of your leadership. Would every member of the team St. Paul, every city employee in the room, please stand up so we can give you a round of applause. Thank you so much for your work. The members of my city administration and staff, our state delegation members, city and community partners and county partners in the room today, and everyone joining us today in person or by live stream, I want to thank you for coming together today as we reflect on our shared values. And I definitely want to thank Julia Diaz and Linnell Lightfoot for your beautiful renditions of the national anthem and Black national anthem. And I have to tell you, Council President Jalali mentioned our Right Track interns who are in this room today. I'd love to just give you a round of applause. Can you wave your hands or stand up where you are so that we can all say thank you for your leadership? As we gather today, in the halls of the Ordway Center for the Performing Arts, we do so in the spirit of community and collaboration. The Ordway is one of the Midwest's premier performing arts centers, attracting nearly 500,000 visitors to our city every year. Next year, the Ordway celebrates its 40th anniversary, and it only gets better and stronger every season under the direction of President and CEO Chris Harrington. Thank you, Chris, for having us here today. My proposed budget for 2025 comes on the heels of a remarkable year of progress in St. Paul, one that bolstered our public safety efforts, kicked off generational infrastructure improvements, advanced our equity, climate, and resilience goals, reinvigorated tourism, and put our collaborative governance model into action more profoundly than ever before. Historic one-time funding from our federal, state, and local partners, allowed us to invest in critical infrastructure projects, enhance our gun violence intervention strategies, and grow a 21st century city to match our 21st century workforce. We began collecting our voter-approved common sense sales tax in April, immediately installing turf fields at our parks and addressing long overdue deferred maintenance at our recreation centers. Less than 1 year after passage, we have over 100 common sense projects underway in every corner of this city. And our first phase of road improvement projects along Grand Avenue is expected to begin next month. We're looking forward to that. The critical new source will fund nearly $1 billion in infrastructure improvements across our city over the next 20 years, and our staff is working hard to ensure that we see returns on these investments in every neighborhood as soon as possible. Our city is growing in population and in popularity, becoming a desired destination to both live and recreate. Last month, 60,000 people attended the 2-day Minnesota Yacht Club Music Festival, the first outdoor concert on Harriet Island in over a decade, and one of the largest events ever held in our capital city. Our hotels were booked solid, our restaurants and bars were full, and our downtown was lively and busy and safe. It's hard to believe that Harriet Island was underwater just 2 weeks before that concert, engulfed by one of our highest floods on record. I thank the men and women in our public works, parks and recreation, and emergency management crews who spared no effort to ensure that the venue was ready on time. The event and our city got such rave reviews for 2 days of music that the only regret for many people I heard from was that it couldn't last longer. Well, don't threaten St. Paul with a good time. The festival organizers have confirmed their intent not only to bring the Minnesota Yacht Club Festival back to Harriet Island next year, but to grow it from a 2-day festival to a 3-day festival in 2025. I thank Parks and Recreation Director Andy Rodriguez and our Harriet Island event coordinator Kate Fry for leading our city team to make this magical event possible. Thank you so much. The men's Frozen Four tournament this spring gave us an exciting warm-up toward hosting the 50th anniversary World Junior Hockey Championship next December. As the capital city of the state of hockey, we couldn't be more excited, and I know I especially see 2 partners here today, Craig Leopold and Matt Maka from the Minnesota Wild, who always stand more than ready to help us welcome hockey fans from across the globe. Great to see you. And let me tell you, our work to activate our downtown and continuously boast St. Paul as a desired destination could not be possible with 2 of our incredible partners at Visit St. Paul and the Downtown Alliance. Jamie Hendrickson and Joe Spencer, your passion for our community and lifting up all that we have to offer has shown the world that St. Paul is both a vibrant destination for visitors and a hub of opportunity for business. Thank you for your leadership. In the face of this year's unprecedented challenges, and in preparing our toughest budget yet, St. Paul marches forward and chooses to go all in together on our city's resilience and commitment for our shared future. Today, I present a financial plan that is the result of months of work by our city leadership team, guided by our Office of Financial Services Director John McCarthy, Budget Manager Madeline Mitchell, and our entire OFS team. Thank you for your work, your leadership, and your incredible patience with me through this process. After months of deliberation with my city leadership team and conversations with 400 city residents, workers, students, seniors, business, and faith leaders over 42 different budget engagement sessions, I am honored to present my proposed 2025 budget, a document full of tough choices that I believe collectively represent the strongest pathway to a prosperous future together. My 2025 budget proposes an increase of 7.9%, adding $16.4 million to our city's property tax levy and resulting in an increase of about $11 per month on a median value home. Critically, this budget responds to the clear guidance you provided in our citywide budget engagement games. A safe and promising neighborhood is our first goal, the foundation upon which every other ambition for our city must be built. I'm proud of the work we're doing through our Community First Public Safety Framework to establish the most comprehensive, coordinated, and data-driven approach our city has ever endeavored to public safety. And we're producing results. While our St. Paul police officers regularly maintain a case clearance rate for homicides that stands far above the national average, Police Chief Axel Henry is always the first to say that arresting a suspect after they've caused a fatality is a hollow victory. One of the core values of our Community First framework is complementing the 21st century emergency response with upstream investments to identify and interrupt the everyday cycles that lead to recurring neighborhood crime issues. City Attorney Lindsay Olson is a national leader in establishing restorative justice programs to reintegrate qualifying offenders into the fabric of our community. Office of Neighborhood Safety Director Brooke Blakey and her team show up in force, in community, and even at the hospital, even in the middle of the night on a weekend, after a shooting, to intervene, assist families, and reduce the risk of retaliatory violence. And our new non-fatal shooting unit in our police department, established by Chief Henry, demonstrates to neighbors and shooters alike that we simply do not accept gun violence in our community by answering even the smallest gun-related injury in our city with the exact same resources and resolve we assign to a homicide investigation. In just 7 months of operation, retaliatory violence and unlawful gun discharge have decreased significantly. The number of victims of non-fatal shootings in our city has decreased by nearly half, and our case clearance rate for non-fatal shootings has jumped from 39% in 2023 to 60% in 2024. Thank you for your leadership. While we funded much of this work over the past several months with $13.6 million in one-time public safety aid provided by the Walz-Flanagan administration and our state legislative leaders last year, we must keep our momentum going. My budget proposal doubles down on these efforts with investments in our forensic services unit, diversion-based restorative justice program, staffing to better support crime victims and witnesses in our city, and to continue enhancing consistency in police department staffing levels by adding a second annual police academy. On the topic of public safety, our St. Paul Fire Department serves our city well as well. Our fire department remains the busiest fire department in the state of Minnesota. Our firefighters responded to nearly 63,000 calls for service last year, representing a staggering 56% increase in call volume over the last decade. Every day they answer the bell without hesitation and literally walk through fire to keep our families safe. 7 months ago, our firefighters responded to one of the most traumatic calls in years. A fully engaged house fire on our city's east side with a mother and her young children trapped inside. Our firefighters risked their own lives to race in and carry every family member out of the home. But our city lost 4 of our precious, beautiful children to injuries and smoke inhalation in the days that followed. Curlor, the children's mother and a former intern here in my office, remains in recovery from that fire today. Her husband, Pacheng, walked me through the hospital and introduced me to every intubated, comatose member of his family, one by one. When I faltered, Pacheng consoled me. At some point, I asked what he needed, and he told me to tell you to check your fire alarms and practice safety plans at home. So his family's story will always be an outlier in our community. I'll never forget the way those words made me feel. And yet, we have work to do to prove them true. Sadly, Pacheng and Curlor's story is not the outlier it should be, with our city's east side historically experiencing more fire fatalities in recent years than any other neighborhood in our city. I thank Fire Chief Butch Inks for keeping this reality front and center, and for paving the way for new investments that will ensure that by this time next year, if this budget proposal is adopted, the east side of St. Paul will be served by 6 newly hired firefighters working aboard a brand new fully electric fire truck, the first in the state, and stationed at our brand new state-of-the-art Fire Station 7. Thank you, Chief, for your leadership. In my State of Our City address this spring, I declared my intention to launch a set of community conversations with the goal of building a comprehensive, all-in housing framework to address our complex housing crisis. I initially envisioned those conversations commencing at the close of this budget process and instructed my team to prepare for that sequencing. But this city has instructed me differently. Through 42 different budget engagement games with 400 St. Paul constituents at nursing homes, high schools, board meetings, parks, public libraries, and anywhere else you found me, Target, mowing the lawn, I've heard you loud and clear. Now is not the time to begin envisioning a robust dialogue about potential actions we can take at some undefined future date. Every person, in every family, in every neighborhood and chapter of life must have access to safe, stable, affordable housing. This work, in this moment, is urgent. When the gap between incomes and rents is wider than ever and nearly a quarter of our families pay over half their monthly income on rent, when the promise of home ownership is moving further and further out of reach for working families, when our neighbors languish and perish in tents because we were thousands of housing units short on a dangerously cold night, all that to say, it's not time for some talk about housing. To quote the 20th century philosopher Reggie Noble, it's time for some action. If we're gonna build an all-in housing framework to respond to our raging housing crisis, we must build it now. Fortunately, we have a significant amount of opportunity to work with. The regional sales tax for housing passed by our legislature last year offers an exciting new revenue stream to pursue our housing goals. Our city council members are full of passion and ideas for how to invest in our aging housing stock, protect low-income renters, promote housing fairness, and support our residents experiencing unsheltered homelessness. Every one of them has contributed in some way to the concepts in this portfolio we have prepared to propose. Our Planning and Economic Development Director, Nicole Goodman, and her exceptional leadership continues to usher forward our robust vision for vitality across our community. And investments envisioned at Highland Bridge, United Village, The Heights, and River's Edge represent a historic magnitude of potential economic and housing opportunity for our residents. As part of our all-in housing framework, I propose leveraging regional sales tax funds to boost supports for low-income renters and neighbors who experience unsheltered homelessness, down payment assistance grants for residents who want to purchase a home, and home renovation grants for residents struggling to maintain one they already own. I propose extending the franchise fee we pay with our utility bill every May to October to include the months of April and November, and using a portion of the funds we'll generate to underwrite $500,000 in home weatherization assistance every year. I propose picking up our unfinished business with regard to tenant protections, and finally passing a set of laws to protect renters from unfair housing practices, including limiting security deposits, restricting lookbacks on outdated criminal credit and rental history as litmus tests for housing, and preventing source of income discrimination against low-income tenants. I propose rekindling our years-old conversation with our Charter Commission, and finally passing administrative citations to give those policies the teeth they deserve. I propose staffing up in our Department of Safety and Inspections to accelerate and streamline the permit application process for housing projects in our city. I propose we finally own up to the injustice and harm caused by the displacement of our historic West Side Flats neighborhood by expanding our inheritance fund to include descendants of residents who were displaced from property ownership in our historic West Side Flats neighborhood. We established the inheritance fund just a few years ago to offer up to $110,000 in fully forgivable loans to help descendants of property owners on Old Rondo, our vibrant, mostly African-American community that was uprooted to build a freeway, to help them build wealth through home ownership. To be clear, my regional sales tax proposal includes a significant boost in down payment assistance funding, at least partially to guard against pitting two disadvantaged and displaced communities in competition against one another for resources. Relying on recommendations from the joint report conducted by the West Side Community Organization and Research in Action, we look forward to taking the next steps along our West Side community and leaders. Thank you for your leadership to make this happen. Our city knows that unsheltered homelessness affects all of us, and it requires a united effort, compassion, and strategic partnership. St. Paul will continue to align our response to unsheltered homelessness with the work of our continuum of care, Heading Home Ramsey. Chaired by our Deputy Mayor, Jamie Tincher, Heading Home Ramsey is a coalition of social service partners, housing providers, philanthropic partners, our business community, and residents with lived experience who come together to create effective responses to the complexity of homelessness and provide leadership and advocacy to end homelessness in our city. I am proposing an investment of $1 million to support the work of Catholic Charities and to launch Familiar Faces, an innovative pilot program designed by members of Heading Home Ramsey to support families who have not been successful in traditional emergency shelters due to multiple, complex, and persistent needs. A housing crisis is marked by one clear symptom: a housing shortage. Simply put, we need much more housing to serve our St. Paul residents and families. Those who are here today, those whose families and fortunes have been planted in our city for generations, and those who are yet to come to our city seeking the promise and prosperity that we all know exists here. From ending homelessness to maximizing opportunities at Highland Bridge and the Heights, to converting office buildings to residential uses downtown, every key to the future for St. Paul depends on our ability to facilitate and accelerate our housing construction goals. In keeping with this truth, and an acknowledgement that the underlying economics of maintaining a 50-year-old building are fundamentally different from the economics of constructing a new one, I propose amending our city's rent stabilization ordinance to include only properties built on or before December 31st, 2004. This simple change would advance our values by maintaining the overwhelming majority of St. Paul rental properties as rent stabilized, while unlocking the critical release valve that only new housing construction can offer us. To usher forward this evolved approach to reducing displacement, my proposal includes additional staffing and direct support to Homeline to provide tenant advocacy services. And finally, because our residents simply cannot wait for us to act, I ask the City Council to take up this all-in suite of housing policies and investments as soon as possible and send it to my desk in its entirety by the close of the current calendar year. From pandemic to prosperity, we're reinventing our downtown strategy to better serve all who live, work, and visit St. Paul. This pivotal moment allows us to embrace new opportunities and build more resilient, vibrant, and inclusive downtown. Where downtowns have traditionally been built as a place of obligation, ours is to be stewards of our downtown as a destination of choice. While we certainly have not been spared by the global decampment from once vibrant office spaces, there are positive indicators all around. With a 92% housing occupancy rate, the demand to live downtown remains strong. With the Frozen Four and the inaugural Minnesota Yacht Club Music Festival just behind us, and the World Juniors Hockey Championship just ahead, our work to attract major events is as successful as it ever has been. And anyone who's recently been to a Minnesota Wild or St. Paul Saints game, the Twin Cities Jazz Festival or Lower Town Sounds, Food Truck Wednesday, by the way, it's Food Truck Wednesday today, right after this speech, or the Farmers Market, can attest we are connecting the dots between large one-time events with a year-round schedule that the downtown St. Paul of 20 years ago would have killed for. People are voting with their feet for our downtown every chance they get. Our task isn't to fundamentally reinvent ourselves, but to register those implicit votes and build the housing, entertainment, and event infrastructure that facilitates them enjoying our downtown in all the ways they're already telling us they want to, more. Our budget proposal anticipates investments to support the expansion of our downtown improvement district, boost public safety measures by investing in increased patrols and upgrades to CCTV cameras, investing in sidewalk maintenance and cleaning to improve walkability, turning underutilized plots of land into parks, and activating public spaces for increased use and engagement. To complement our all-in housing framework, we'll invest in a joint study to explore office to housing conversion strategies in partnership with our Downtown Alliance and propose an investment of $1 million to provide permit fee waivers to help facilitate at least 2 such projects per year. I thank all the members of our Downtown Alliance who contributed their time and expertise to design that downtown improvement strategy, which provides an incredible roadmap as we endeavor to realize in even more vitality for our downtown. I'm especially grateful to Securian CEO Chris Hilger and Ecolab CEO Christoph Beck for their leadership, partnership, mentorship, and deep commitment to our shared vision of a vibrant, prosperous St. Paul. This last year, our neighbors at the Excel Center had a banner year with a rebound of social and cultural events that formed a much-needed bounce back from the pandemic, not just for the facility, for our entire city. Looking ahead to its 25th year of the building's 25-year competitive lifespan, the arena is overdue for upgrades. The arena complex which also includes the St. Paul River Center, currently generates $383 million in annual statewide spending, including lodging, meals, transportation, and other goods and services. A renovated arena is anticipated to boost statewide spending to an estimated $493 million annually, with the renovation project creating approximately 2,300 jobs. Updating the Xcel Energy Center is about securing our economic future through the strong anchor and rippling vitality the facility provides for our downtown. It is an economic engine for our community, especially as we expand our reach and seek out more opportunities to host big events in our city. The onus is on each and every one of us to be part of a solution to sustain and enhance the momentum we're reestablishing downtown. As one of our largest downtown employers, I know that has to include our city employee team. This is a fight we can win if we all show up. While the vast majority of our largest city work centers stayed in person throughout the entire pandemic, my leadership team and I are specifically asking those in office functions to be intentional about showing up, both to maximize opportunities within the organization for interpersonal and interdepartmental coordination, and to play a deliberate role in our downtown vitality. One core component of our vision for the future is ensuring that we have a future to enjoy. That's why our work to combat climate crisis is so critical to us all. We must pass on a sustainable, healthy world to our children. And to do that, we need to take bold climate action now so that they have a world they deserve to inherit. I thank our state legislative leaders who helped us repeal franchise fee limitations that impacted only the city of St. Paul. This change gives us the opportunity to leverage significant investments in our citywide resilience infrastructure and staffing, home weatherization programs, and repopulating our urban forest. We will decarbonize our Como Park Zoo and Conservatory, and as a result of $2.4 million secured for energy efficiency upgrades in a combination of common sense dollars and funding from our federal partners, both the primates and polar bears buildings at Como Zoo will operate a second geothermal energy system in our city, the first ever in the state being the district geothermal energy system at our housing development at the Heights. We will continue our drive to rethink snow operations by piloting a one-sided parking cycle that will hopefully allow us snowplow drivers, you guys saw my video, right? That will allow us snowplow drivers to clean all the way to the curb while increasing parking continuity through the winter. Thank you, Public Works Director Sean Kershaw, for clearing the path on this for us. You see what I did there? Finally, under the leadership of our Department of Safety and Inspections Director, Angie Wiese, that department will also work to administer the updated state energy code, which pushes us one step closer to achieving carbon neutrality among city operations by 2030 and citywide by 2050, as outlined in our Climate Action and Resilience Plan. Thank you for your leadership. Our proposed 2025 budget is one of the toughest I've ever constructed. That makes sense, because the demands and challenges of this era are among the toughest we've ever faced. But as rocky as the road may feel underfoot today, the path ahead shines bright with opportunities our city is uniquely built to tackle. As always, we'll tackle them together with a broad team of supporters and champions. As always, we won't avoid the tough conversations. As always, we'll understand that complex challenges demand complex responses. There is no magic pill. As challenging as this budget was to construct, I am confident that the numbers clearly convey not only what, but who our community cares about. And just as sure as we've watched incredible St. Paul residents like Joe Mauer, Sunisa Lee, and Governor Tim Walz. Just as sure as we've watched those incredible St. Paul residents excel and achieve on the world stage, I have every confidence that together we will continue to be just as incredible right here at home. Thank you very much. And don't forget, you're welcome to meet us outside for Food Truck Wednesday in Rice Park immediately after this event. Thank you so much.